Hey guys, Sharpend here. In this video I'm going to show you how you can turn noise samples like these into glitchy beatbox drums like these. In addition to that, I'm going to show you how you can post-process these samples and layer them with normal sounding drums to create unique rhythms as well. So you can turn drum loops like these into more glitchy ones like these. So in order to create this sort of glitchy beatbox type of drum sounds, I'm going to be using Serum, and I'm only going to be using the noise oscillator. So I'm going to enable it, and I'm going to set it to a noise that I like this one. And I'm going to modulate its level using LFO1. So I'm going to turn the level all the way down, and I'm only going to turn it up using LFO1. I'm going to set it to envelope mode, and I'm going to change the curve to look like this, something like that. Now I'm going to remove the BPM setting, and I'm going to change the rate to around 4.5 Hertz, something like this. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the pitch down, and I'm going to use macro number 1 so I can increase it as much as I'd like this. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I have a sort of rhythm pattern in MIDI, like this one for example. Basically what you want is to have a pattern that has different lengths of notes, like quarter notes and shorter notes in a sort of basic rhythm. So that way, once you create this sort of glitchy drum sound, you can have a lot of variation in between the loop. So the next thing I'm going to do once I have this MIDI clip done is I'm going to right click and set the mod source to chaos. Chaos is basically an oscillator here, and what it does is it just randomly goes all over the place. So every time I'm going to play a note, it's going to modulate the pitch of the noise like this. And this is exactly what we're looking for, because now that we will start playing this MIDI clip, it's going to create a lot of random sounds like this. And you can control these sounds using macro 1. You can change the pitch like this. So in addition to that, I'm going to add some slight distortion in the effects section. And I'm also going to add some multiband compression without any gain, just like this. As you can hear, the multiband compression just adds a lot of necessary high end so that our drums will sound slightly more realistic. And now there are a couple of things that we can do to spice it up. We can, for example, change the rate of the chaos oscillator. Like if we go really fast, it can make it sound like it has a lot of extra high end, which allows us to play at lower pitch values for our noise. Because if we were to play it at a normal rate, it would sound just like very low frequencies without any high-end content compared to this. In addition to that, if you don't like the sort of sound that's pitching all over the place, like this, you can make it sound a bit more stable by, instead of choosing chaos, you can use a note on random, which means that just every time you click on a note, it's going to select a random value and keep it there. So that means that there aren't going to be any random pitch jumps while the sample plays. Which is also very good for drum sounds. It just depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for more glitchy sounds, then chaos is right for you. So after you have this sort of basic sound, what you want to do is to just hit record like this and just let it play out for a couple of loops. And you can also play with it like this by changing the pitch. And then once you have a couple of loops down, you can sort of search for sounds that you liked. Like for example, like this snare that you can just edit out and then save. And what I did is I saved a bunch of these by making this pattern. All of these are just from recording the same pattern over and over again. And then you can layer it with a bunch of normal drum sounds to create some unique feels and variations. So after cutting up the loop that we recorded, I made this small rhythm out of it. And then I added a bunch of effects. I added some distortion. And I added some convolution reverb, and I'm using cabinet model, which basically just emulates the sound of a guitar amp. So altogether it sounds like this. Basically it removes a lot of the high end that these samples had, and it makes them sound sort of like they were recorded on an old device or something like this. And then when you layer it with other drums, more electronic and more normal sounding drums, you get a really cool blend of glitchiness and still hard hitting drums. And that is pretty much it. I'm going to put a download link in the description below to some of the samples I made out of this patch. If you found this tutorial helpful, I'm going to put a download link in the description below to some of the samples I made out of this patch. If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know in the description below what subject you want me to cover up next time.